Hi, this is Manny with Classic Auto Repair. Today we're going to look at a 1973 Chevrolet Corvette. It was recently upgraded with air conditioning and heat. Radiator was upgraded, power brake booster was added to a non-power brake car, and we replaced a power steering control valve that was leaking and some hoses. This particular vehicle has a vintage air conditioning system. We put both vintage air and old air systems in our vehicles for our customers. The nice thing about old air is that they usually have them in stock, where vintage air has taken up to 4 or 5 months to have the parts built for the installation. So if time is a crunch, we tend to go with old air. Both products are very similar, and vintage air has some extra customized control heads for the dash that sometimes old air doesn't have or hasn't developed yet. Other than that, they're both computer-controlled air conditioning and heat systems. Let's take a look inside of the car, how the installation went. Inside here, you have the new control head, which is right here, and it allows you to control your fan speed. It puts the air up on the dash, the floor, or the defroster. And then finally, you got your cold and hot. And this will activate the blue light for the air conditioning when it's in the cold position with the fan turned on. This is a non-air car, so we had to take the control head here, replace it, and then up here in the console, this was blanked off, and we replaced it with a vintage air control head, or excuse me, console piece right here. All this comes with the kit, and it allows you to control the wiper as it did on the original, but it adds the vents for the air conditioning system. The remaining air conditioning comes through these stock vent tubes that were original on the vehicle. And what we do is we take all these panels off to access them and to pull them off, and we add the modifications to the backside. The evaporator case is located down here below the dash, and that's why we got to take all these parts out so that we can get this new unit installed and remove the old heater case and box, which we save for the customers, so that when they ever want to return the vehicle to original condition for some reason, you don't want air in Texas, but if you want to sell the car with all the original parts, we will provide those parts that we took off the vehicle. Under the hood, you can see the new aluminum radiator we added to the vehicle to improve cooling for the air conditioning system. Up in the front there, you can see the condenser. This is for the air conditioning. It cools the gases in the AC system so that they operate correctly. And this is the new compressor. This has the polished aluminum compressor to kind of match the parts that are on the vehicle. We install all the brackets and make it so that it is adjustable, and that way you can tighten your belts. These are all the new hoses and lines that were added. This is a computer-controlled heater valve. Everything on this car for the AC and heat is no longer cable-driven. It's driven by wires. These wires, just like on your late model cars, are controlled by servo motors that connect to the evaporator computer module. It's the brain of the system. And by moving the selectors, it will open and close different flap doors to move air where you need it, or to turn on the heat and turn off the air conditioning system. On this particular model, we installed a clutchless fan adapter so that we improve the flow of air through this system. And this has the 134 gas in it, as do new cars, so it's easy to keep the system charged and maintained. Here at the shop, we have all the appropriate gauges to measure the level of gases in the system, check for leaks, and to maintain the system. It's pretty clean and straightforward installation. And the parts for a heat and air conditioning upgrade start at $14.95, and then depending on the installation, you'll have some associated labor costs. Here's the example of the old air system. This is the evaporator case. This is a mock-up case that I use on custom installations to measure for space and where the ports are going to be coming out of the evaporator into the engine compartment. I've got to be able to know how this is going to mount in the vehicle. So this is a great little kit model that allows me to do that, and I always keep it here in the shop so that I can set up new systems. We have a 71 Cutlass Oldsmobile, and this one is also receiving an air conditioning and radiator upgrade. This is our most popular service that we offer at Classic Auto Repair. It's highly in demand in Texas to have 40 degrees in your side of your vehicle coming out of those dash vents, and that's what these new air conditioning systems provide with these sand-in compressors. They're very low drag on the engine, so you're not going to have a lot of pull on the motor, so you shouldn't notice a difference when the air conditioning is turned on these V8 engines. And it again, here's an installation where you can see it coming out of the firewall. These are the lines that I'll be connecting to the heater to the engine, and on this side is for the this side over here is for your air conditioning system. And then what we do is we make custom hose fittings, and I have a hydraulic crimper that will press these couplers on the end of the hoses at the exact length that I want, so that I can connect them right onto the compressor where I need it, or up on the condenser or the evaporator. So all of these have been crimped professionally so they don't leak. And this one here has an electric fan on the front. It's kind of hard to see up there, but there's an electric fan, then the condenser for the air conditioning, and then the radiator. The air flows through this, improves cooling, makes the air conditioning work better, and also cools down the car with that electric fan. So when you're sitting in traffic, stop and go, that temperature gauge starts to climb in the summertime. These electric fans will drop that temperature back down at idle, because the electric fans stay at full blow as far as running air CFMs through the radiator and condenser, whereas the engine fans are turning. These engine fans are turning only at the RPM of the motor, so if you're sitting at idle, you're not getting a lot of rotation out of that fan. This is a custom installation. They don't make an exact kit for the 71 Cutlass, and this isn't what we find in most cases. The models that are not super popular, like these Cutlasses, or the popular models are going to be the Corvettes, the Mustangs, the Camaros of the 60s and 70s. They make a lot of parts for these, but then we also have some very nice universal control heads. Again, here they're all controlled by wire. Makes all these servo motors on the climate control system for your defrost, heater, dash vents is all controlled by these switches here that go to the main brain, which is back up in here. It's kind of hard to see right now inside of this car, but this control head is a universal control head. We can mount it right here underneath the dash, and that allows you to maintain the originality of the dash without making any cuts to the original control head. We mount this up underneath, gives you full control. I just did a 67 GTO, and it was very similar to this Cutlass installation that we're doing right now. And just one last thing before we wrap up here with this video on air conditioning upgrades and systems, you'll see over here, this is where the old parts that we will box up for the customers. This is the old heater box for that Cutlass. This is the part that's inside of the engine compartment. All of this is removed because we no longer need it for the new AC system, but we will provide those to the customers so that they have those original parts as we discussed earlier. Well, hope you enjoyed watching this video on air conditioning upgrades offered through Classic Auto Repair in Bartonville, Texas. Give us a call, 469-323-7799, and we can discuss your repair list on your classic car. Have a great day.